Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Enoch's Tutorials, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and also share and press the notification bell so you can receive every bit of update from this channel. In today's video, we are going to look at how to use the Excel to analyze data, that is data analysis using Microsoft Excel. So let's look at the content or the outline of this video. So we are going to just look at data analysis. So when you see data analysis, it just basically refers to the process of using a software like a Microsoft Excel and SPSS software to analyze data into a meaningful form. So if you have a data without any meaning, you can convert the data into a meaningful form and readable form, which is called the data analysis. So to analyze data means to convert data into a meaningful form. Now the outline of this course or this video, we are going to first look at the overview of the Microsoft Excel worksheet. We are going to look at the basic mathematical and statistical operations in Microsoft Excel. Then we are going to look at how to edit and format data in Microsoft Excel. Now we look at how to convert data into graph and figures in Microsoft Excel. Then also look at how to use the data, or let's say the Excel analysis toolpack, to describe a data, or that is how you're going to manipulate or take out descriptive statistics using the analysis toolpack present in Microsoft Excel. So first, let's look at the overview of the Microsoft Excel worksheet. So basically, that's how Microsoft Excel look like. It has a ribbon which is made of several buttons which can be activated, or some of them are already activated. So shown here are ribbons that displays a lot of icons, or let's say buttons, which when pressed on, each of them generate a particular result in the Excel. So we have here the home tab, which is made of several buttons. You can have the insert tab, which is made of several buttons. You can have the page layout. You can have the formulas, you have the data, you have review and view. So each of these have several buttons in the ribbon. This is called a worksheet because it is made of a sheet where we can input a data. So this one can be a first sheet, and each sheet is made of a box. These small boxes are what we call a cell. So we call these boxes a cell. So when we say a cell in Excel, it is just an intersection of a column and a row. So a column is just that horizontal or let's say vertical line you see here. That vertical line you see here is called a column, and these ones are the rows. Now bear in mind, in Excel all the columns are named with alphabet. So we can have column 1, that of A. Now column A can have column B, column C, column D, and to infinity. So all the columns in Excel are named with alphabet, whereas all the rows in Excel are named with numbers. So here are the rows that are found in Excel. Now each row and each column always intersect at a point like here, and this point is what we call a cell. So a cell is basically an intersection section of a column and a row. So here is where we input our figure. So you can type in, let's say 6. So if you put 6 here, 6 is being put in this cell, and this cell, the name of this cell is an intersection of column B and row 2. So the name of this cell is called B2. B2 in the sense that it is that of the column B and row 2. So the name of every cell is shown in this tab here. So if I click in this cell, the name will appear here that it is D6, where this D refers to the particular column it finds itself, and the C refers to the particular, or the 6 refers to the particular row it finds itself. Now basically, when you type numbers in a cell, bear in mind it is always right aligned in a cell. By default, when you type numbers in a cell, it is always the right aligned in Excel. But when you type a letter in a cell, it is always left aligned. So keep that in mind. For every cell, when you type a number in every cell, it is always right aligned in a cell. But when you type a letter in a cell, it is always left aligned. Whenever you click on any cell, that cell becomes activated and every operation you want to carry out on this cell effect. So if I have this, I want to delete this 6, then I just press the delete key on my keyboard and I'll delete that. If I want to delete this E, I will just press the delete key on my keyboard to delete that. So these cells are activated when you put the cursor on them. Now you can choose to enlarge a particular cell, especially if you want to type something which is very long. Let's say I want to type something here, and the length is so long that the cell, or say the length of the cell is too small. So now what do? I have to enlarge the column A. So how do I enlarge column A? I'll just move the cursor to this line, the line which is between column A and B. The line between column A and B as seen here. Then when it turns to this symbol as in plus, with the cross line being arrows both left and right, you click, you hold, and you drag rightward. That is how to enlarge a column. So if you want to enlarge a column, just move the cursor to the line that is in between that column and the next column, and when it changes to this symbol as shown here, then you just click, hold, and you drag. So let's say if I want to enlarge column B2, I will just click here, hold, and drag. That is basically how to broaden a cell, or let's say a column. In the same way, if I want to broaden a particular let's say row, I also move the cursor as seen here. So the line also changes to the same symbol, or the cursor also changes to the same symbol as shown earlier. You click, you hold, then you drag down, and that enlarges a particular row. So this basically, that's how to operate, or let's say enlarge a column and a row. So if you want to enlarge, let's say this cell, then you have to both enlarge the column and also enlarge the row by expanding it. So now this line or this box or this cell is activated. In that case, I can type in everything I want. If I want to delete this one, I will just click on that and press the delete key. If you want to reverse all the operations or actions you carried out in this cell, you just move to the undo button, then you click on that. That is going to reverse all the actions you have done. So you go back to normal. So basically, that's how to perform basic operations. So that's the overview of Excel. If you want to move rightward, this line here, you can use this line to move both right and left as shown here. So this line is used to move left and right of the Excel worksheet. You can also enlarge the cells by using this symbol. So you have plus and minus. This plus means that when you click on it, it zooms in. So when I click on it, it becomes bigger. When I click on this, it becomes smaller. I can just click on this one and move it up and down anyhow I want it. So if I click on this zoom, if I go this way, it becomes larger. If I come this way, it becomes smaller. Now the Excel worksheet is made of several sheets. So these sheets are many. So let's say the work you are doing, you want to get the works on in different sheets. You can have this, my selected one is sheet 3. We can have here sheet 1, sheet 2, and sheet 3. So then if you want, let's say your work or your data in different sheets. Now this is your data. Let me say you have this data in sheet 3. If you want to add the next data in different sheets, you click on this icon. So when you click on this icon, you are going to get a new blank sheet, which is sheet 4. So here, I've already had sheet 2 here. I've had sheet 1 here. So the sheet 1 is having my data, which you are going to use for the analysis. I have sheet 2, which you are going to also use for learning. You have sheet 3, which is made of also a blank sheet or a blank interface for learning. If you want to add sheet 4, just click on this icon, and this icon will display another sheet, which is sheet 4. If I want to add more sheets, you click on this icon, and this icon will replace or bring another sheet, which is sheet 5. So that's how basically the opening, or let's say the overview of an Excel. So let's look at something. Let's look at the next thing on our outline. We are going to look at how to perform basic mathematical and statistical operations in Excel. So these ones are the basic things you know you can before you can become a perfect data analyst. So we are going to learn how to perform basic mathematical and statistical operations in Excel. Okay, so let's go. Mathematically, if you want to perform, let's say you perform an operation, you use either the plus sign, the minus, the times, or the division sign. So to perform basic mathematical operations in Excel, let's say you can have just on a keyboard 2 plus 2. So you have 2 plus 2. That will give you a particular value. But if you want the answer for this particular value, you first begin by pressing the equal to sign. You press the equal to sign on your keyboard. Then you type 2 plus 2. Then when you press the enter, it gives you the answer. So for you to perform any operation in an Excel, you begin with an equal to sign. Let's say I want 10 plus 10. I select the cell, then I press the equal to sign on my keyboard. Then I type 10 plus 10, and that gives me an answer when I press the enter, which is 20. Let's say I want 6 plus 6, so 6 plus 6. When I press equal to, it gives you the answer. So when you perform these operations, that's how basically you perform an addition operation. It's very simple. Bear in mind, Excel has a formula that is given to every cell. So for every cell, when you click at the cell, if the cell has already an existing formula, the formula displays in the formula bar. So this is called the formula bar. So the formula in cell B2 is 2 plus 2, that gave me what? 4. The formula in cell B3 is 10 plus 10, shown in the formula bar. The formula in cell B4 is 6 plus 6, as shown in the formula bar. In the same way, you can also carry out the subtraction, where you can get, let's say, equal to, let's say you have 13 minus 5. When you press equal to, it gives you the answer. You can go by also the multiplication by typing 4 times, let's say 6 on your keyboard, and you press enter, it gives you the answer. You can go by also typing in the division. Let's say you have 20 divided by, on your keyboard, divided by 2, you press enter, that gives you the answer. Sorry, I have to bring the equal to, so maybe you bring the equal to before, you press enter, and that gives you the answer. So that's how basically you perform basic mathematical operations in an Excel. Now if you want to add the whole of this, it's very simple. If you want to add all the values here, you have an easier way of doing that. But let's say I want to add this one, these values in this box. I want to get the sum in this box. I'll go by a very simple formula. You press equal to, then you press in this cell, then you type plus, you press in this, click in this cell, then you type plus, you click in this cell, then you type plus, you click in the next cell. So in that order, you click in every cell, then you type the plus. Okay, so this is the last one. When you are done, then you press enter, and that gives you the value. So that's how basically you can add if you want to perform the addition in a different cell. That's one way of doing that. Additionally, you can have an easier way of doing it as addition. So you can add these values in any cell here just by clicking in the cell, then moving this or adding them, clicking on them one by one. After each, you add the plus sign. You can use the other operations to on the figures going by the same formula. So you can get, let's say, 4 minus 20 minus 12 minus 8 minus 24 minus 10. That gives you the same answer. We have an easier way of doing that too. So if you want to delete, just select the cell and delete that. If you want to add the whole of this in the same cell, you also type equal to, then on your keyboard you type sum, as in SUM. So this sum, as the name implies, it is sum. The sum is the addition of the numbers you want to add. So for you to move, or let's say to type the sum has opened a bracket and you want to type in the list of the cells that you want to sum up. So when you select all the cells that contain the value you want to sum up, Excel will sum up all those values in that cell. So here, I want to sum up the values in this cell. So you click in this cell, then you drag down here. So the formula here is I want to sum all the values in cell B2 up to cell B6 and B7. So this one, then you close the bracket, then you press enter. Then you press enter. So when you press enter, it gives you the value. So that's an easy way of doing it. So you just press type equal to, then you type SUM, what is sum, you open bracket, then you drag all the values. So let me take it again. So we first type equal to, then you type sign, sum. So the sum will come, then you double click on that. Then you select all the cells with the values you want to sum up. Then you close the bracket. Then you press the enter key on your keyboard and that gives you the answer. So that's an easier way of performing addition operation in Excel. So let's see how you can also use Excel to manipulate or let's say to find the various statistical operations. So in statistics, the various operations that most statisticians center on is how to analyze data. So by finding the mean, the median, the mode, the variance, the standard deviation, you're able to explain and analyze the data. So let's see how we can find the mean, the median, the standard deviation, the rest in Excel. So I can find my sum here. So if I want a sum, I'll just type equal to, type SUM, which is sum. You double click on this one, then you move over the values that you want to sum up, then you press equal to, enter, and that gives the sum of this. So here, this one value becomes the sum of my data. Let's say I want to find the mean of this data. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values. I want to find the mean. Bear in mind, when you say the mean is also called the average of the data. So when we say the average, it is just the sum of all these values divided by the number of items in there. So if I want to find the mean, I can go by this. I won't type mean, but I will type average, because Excel has no formula for mean. It uses average to represent mean. So you type equal to, then you type average, it will pop up itself. This is average. You double click on that. So what is the average of what? So you want to find the average of the whole of this value. So from B2 to B7, you want to find the average of these values. Then you close bracket, then you press enter. So 13, the value 13 here is the average of all these items. So let's say these items are named A, B, C, D, E, and F. So the A to F are the numbers we want to find the average. So here, this one is the average of my data. Let's say I want to find the median of this data. It goes by the same formula. You select the cell, press equal to, then type in the median. So it's the median of what? The median of all these values. So when you say median, statistically, just it is the medial number when the numbers are ranked either in ascending order or descending order of data. So when you type that and you close the bracket and press the enter key, Excel says that the median is what? 11. Though there is no 11 value here, but normally when the number of items are even, the median is always the average of the middle two. So here I think the middle two, when you add them up and divide by 2, you are going to get 11. So we have here the median. Let's see if you can get a mode there. So the mode, as we define by the number which appears most frequent in a raw data. Okay, so here the mode has been inactivated. So let's see if you can get a mode here. Let's see the result that the Excel will give us, because no number here appears most frequent. So let's close the bracket and press enter. So it gives us error. This error means that there is no mode among this. So it says that a value is not available to the formula or the function. So there is no value here which appears most frequent. So we call it a non-modal data. A non-modal data. So let's reverse the process. I have this set of values and I want to find the standard deviation. Then I also come and type equal to, then the standard deviation, you have standard STD. So I have standard deviation. These are the two standard deviations. So if your data being given is a data of a population, then you use the first one, the STDEV dot P. So the P stands for what? Standard the population. So this one calculates the standard deviation based on the entire population given as an argument. But when it comes to the sample, this one rather estimates the standard deviation based on a sample. So if you have an entire population and you take a sample, the standard deviation of that sample is found using the second one. Bear in mind the two of them always using two different formulas in statistics. So if your data is that of a population, then you select the first one, but if it's that of a sample, then you select the second one. So let's say my own is a sample. So I'll double click on the second one, then I will select as usual all my data, close the bracket, then what? You press enter. So that is it. So this is the standard deviation. This is the standard deviation. Now for you to get a variance, the variance normally in statistics, the variance is basically the square of the standard deviation. So when I get the variance and you find the square root of the variance, you get a standard deviation too. So let's see how we can get the variance of this. So here is the standard deviation. Let's say you want to get the variance of that set of data. So the variance becomes equal to the variance that Excel has any. So we have the variance. Is it the variance of the population or variance of a sample? So I think this one we use the variance of the sample. So let's use the variance of a sample. So we select all the cells with those values. You close the bracket, then you press enter. So basically, the square of the standard deviation is the variance. So it means when you find the square root of this one, we expect to get what? This, because the square of the standard deviation is the variance, and the square root of the variance is the standard deviation. So you have here the variance. So these are basically how you perform basic statistical analysis on a given row of data. We have others that you are going to do. So let me see. We have others you are going to do in the next outlines. We are going to analyze this data and convert them into a graphical form. So let's see the next on our outline. Now we are going to look at how to edit and format a data in Excel. How to edit and format a data in Excel. So the editing and the formatting of data in Excel is very simple. So now let's see. Let's say you have this set of data. You have this set of data and you want to edit it. So as we started earlier, if the square, or let's say if the values here are too big or the cells are too big, you can close or open. So you can close this one, you can equally close this one, so it all comes in a nice form. You can select a particular column like this by just clicking on the name of the column. So if I click on this column, I'm going to select it. If I click on this column, I'm going to select it. So if I click on this column, then I press the delete key, all the values in that column will delete. If I want to reverse, I will just come here and click on the undo button. Then the undo button will generate back my data. Now let's see how we can perform other operations by editing data. If I have these values are 60% estimate of these values. So then what am I going to do? I want to run these values to just one decimal place. So you're going to look at how to edit and format data. So I have this column. I want to edit this column. So what I'm going to do is I want to run all these numbers into, let's say, one decimal place. So I will just, if I want to have it in this column, I'll move to the first cell, click in there, then press equal to, and I type round up. So I'm going to round these figures into one decimal place. So the round formula is that you have to type the number and the number of digits. The number of the digits is the number of decimal place. So I want this cell alone to be round, so you press comma to just one decimal place. So I will type in 1. Then I close the bracket. Then I press enter. So now you can see that this value, which is 27.7, has been rounded to just one decimal place. Then how do I generate these ones? The ones down here also in the same form. So I will just come and click this cell, move the cursor to the down right corner, so it changes to the plus sign as shown here. Two ways: I can click, hold, and drag down like this. Two ways of getting all the numbers following this formula. All the numbers following the formula in this one. You can move the cursor to this side, so it changes to plus. Then you click and drag down. So when you click and drag down, all the numbers in this column will change to just a one decimal place. Or you can also move the cursor to this, which is very simple. Then you double click. So if you double click like this, you are going to have all the numbers here being changed to one decimal place. What if I want to perform it on this one? If I want to perform it on this one too, it's very simple. I will come here, press equal to, then type round up. So round up here. So this is round up. So the round up value here means that I'm to type the value or the number, which is this one. Then I type in the comma. Then I bring the number which I want to convert. So I have here 0. So let's say I want to get them into a whole numbers. I will just type 0. Then you press enter. So when I press enter, this value has been changed to a whole number. If you want to get all the values down here to follow the same pattern or the same formula as we did, you select the cell, you move the cursor to the down right corner, then you double click. So you double click, all the numbers in this particular column are going to be converted into a whole number as shown here. So let's delete them. So you can just pause the video and try it on your laptop. A next way of, let's say, analyzing the data is what you mean by using the conditional formatting layout. So let's come to the home tab. So on the home tab, we have here the conditional formatting and the formatting as a table. First, we can convert all these selected numbers into a table. So let's say we want to select the index number from 1 to these ones into a table form. If I select, then on your keyboard, you just type Control plus T, Control plus T. So let me reverse it. Want to convert only these ones into a table form. On your keyboard, you hold the Control key, then you type T. So Control plus T convert a particular selected data in Excel into a table form. So here I have the column 1, which is made of this, the column 2, which is made of that. You can also have it also done in different way. Let's reverse it. We come to format as table. So these are the different ways of converting that selected data as a table. So let's say if I want it to be in this format, I'll just click on that. Then I click on OK. So all the data are going to be converted in that format. Let me go to reverse. Let's say I want it to be in this dark one. I'll just click on that, then press OK. Then this one becomes the data. So that's how we can convert a particular selected data in Excel into a table form. Now let's see, these numbers are mixed up. So let's see how we can perform various operations on them. So if I have these numbers, the general default operation on these numbers is what we mean by the general. So we can convert these numbers also into different form. So if we come to this tab, we have a general representation of this number. I can change this number into a currency that is normally in dollars. I can change this number into a fraction as seen here. Then I can change this, apply all these ones, let's say in accounting. I can change these numbers into any operation that I want. So I can have a short date. I can change this number into a percentage. Then I can change these numbers to any one I want. So being as an exam score, you convert all of them to any one that you want. So if you want to convert this one to a scientific word or scientific figures, then you type this. So let's go to the general. So that's how we are going to operate. Interestingly, you can also use these ones to deduce the number of decimal places you want your selected numbers to be. So if I come to this one, this small arrow, if I click on this small arrow, it is going to give me an operation where I can adjust the number of decimal places that I want my figures to be. So if I come here, so these are the various ways of operating, or say converting these numbers into form that you want. So if you want the numbers to be in currency, you just click on that. So normally the currency is what brings the number of decimal places that you want. So maybe in your currency you want to get, let's say, 2 decimal places. If you want 3 decimal places or 4, these are what you use to adjust the decimal places. But if you want to do normally in accounting, if you want these numbers to be run into, let's say, 2 decimal places, if it is 3, if it is 4, if it is 5, just come and select here. So here I want it to be in 3 decimal places. The unit I want to give to the numbers is dollars, but if you want none, you select none, then you press OK. So now I've changed these numbers to 3 decimal places. Let's say if I want to convert these ones to, so let me select these figures in percentages already because of this one. Now I come and select this small icon. I want to change these numbers to, let's say, 5 decimal places each. So you come and select currency. You have the number of decimal places. Yeah, I want it to be 5. So you move these ones to 5 decimal places. Now by default it will appear as dollars, but because you want it to be in numbers, you just leave it like that to none, then you press OK. So we are going to change all these values to 5 decimal places. Interestingly, you can also adjust these numbers using what you call conditional formatting button. So here the conditional formatting, it is made of several ways of you trying to analyze a particular data. So if I have, let's say, the cell or the column C, if I want to format this one using the conditional formatting, I can use the data bars here. Data bars are going to adjust these numbers, give me the values using just bar. So here, if I come to data bar, then I select, let's say, this one, nicely shown here. It's going to give me a bar in front of all the values here. So the length of the bar corresponds to the magnitude, or let's say the magnitude of the figure there. So let's say I'm just going through to look at the smallest number, then the numbers are plenty. I will just select the cell and I'm going to apply data bar. Then I'll just look at the bar. So having seen a very small bar, this means it's a small number 13. If I go down, maybe I'll go and see another small bar somewhere. So it means in here, the least number you can find in this set of data is what? 13, because that has the least bar. You can change these bars to into any form that you want. So this is the color that I've selected. You can let it be in this way. So the colors are here. We have this one. Sorry, the bars are here. You can insert any bar that you want, different colors. So the various colors can have it in a solid form, very solid form like this. So very clear shown. So that's how you can edit a particular number, especially if you want to get the smallest value. Then you press that. You can equally insert what we call a color scale to the given set of data. So when it comes to conditional formatting, you can get the color scale. So the color scales give colors to the numbers also based on their magnitude. So if I come here, I select this color. So I think, let me see, it gives us an inscription I didn't read, so let's read that description. What do you say? So it says that it displays, so this color scale, I think it's moved away, so let's read this. It displays a two or three colors gradient in range of a cell. The shade of the color represents the value in the cell. So if you look at this critically, you can see that the colors move from red through to green. So interestingly, the largest value you see here is what? 54. So the numbers that carry the 54 is what? The one with the largest value. Or the 54 number is the one with the largest. The largest value takes that number. So let's see, take that color, sorry. Let's reverse it. So you can also apply different formatting text in a particular column. So let's select this column, column C. You can come to the cell styles, that you want to choose a style that you want the cells to be. So normally it appears whitish. If you want bad, it's come here. So any cell that you put the cursor on, that's how the cells in there are going to be. So maybe you want to just make a prominent column, assume a particular color. You can just select that and come here and choose any one that you want. So you can come here, any of the ones that you want. These are the forms that you can apply to the cells. So these are the cell styles that you can choose to apply in your Excel. If it is a heading like this one, let's see, let me see this cell, I can come and apply a particular heading to it. So I will come and just heading, click on that. The exam score, maybe I want it to also be in different heading. Let's say something like this, the first one like that. Then you just click on that. So there you go. So if you want to enlarge it, as we learned earlier, just select here and you open up. Just select here and you open up. So that's how you can perform basic operations on the data in a cell. So next on our outline, we are going to look at how we can, let's see, we were doing just editing and formatting of cells. So we have several ways of editing and formatting of values or data in Excel. So these are the few that we've learned. You can also just go and try your hands on. We have several ways of editing a cell, the data in the cell. So let's go to how you can convert a data into a graphs and figures. So we are going to now look at conversion of data into graphs and figures. Normally, if the data is just there, raw and unorganized, for you to make it understandable, we have to present data in a format that can be read. So the data can be in any form based on how you want it. You choose how you make your data. So let's say I want to work on this. Our previous data, where was it? Was it in cell 2 or we deleted that? So let's see. Yes, this data. So let's use this data and convert this data into a meaningful form. So if you want to convert this data into a graph to make it meaningful, you select that data, then you move to the insert button. These are the various ways you can, or the various figures you can apply to this data. So if I come here, I can insert a pie chart for this data. So this is a pie chart. If I click on a pie chart, I'm going to get this pie chart. So this pie chart gives me various colors, of which each color represents a particular name of a cell here. Then the width of the color represents how large it contributes to the overall 360 degrees of the circle. So here, this color here is the A, which is the 4. So of course, when you come here, the 4 is the smallest. So the largest value here is 24, which is the E. So the E is this one. So that explains why when you come to this pie chart, this one is the largest. You can also make adjustments to the interface of this figure. So when you come here and select any color, the font color gives you the various colors of the font. So as seen here, any color you click will give you a particular color of the font. If you come here and you come to this color, it gives you various color of the interface. So this one is the colors of the interface that you want to get. So if you just want maybe something like this, then you click on that. If you come to this one too, this one also gives you the colors of basically the outline. So take note. Now we have this one, maybe you don't know which one represent or which one represent which. We don't want this key. You can insert the values of each of these data in there. So here the A is 4. So when you right click on that, then you come and click on add data labels. This add data labels will add different figures or the figures of each division to it. So here you see here, this side is 20, which is what? The B. So the B is 20. This side is 4, so it has added the labels, that is the figures to it. So let me move it here, it becomes very clear. So you can move these figures up and down anyhow you want it. So when you right click on it and you add data labels, you're going to have it. So if you right click again, then you come to format data labels. So let's format the data labels and see. So in formatting the data labels here, we have added a value. We can also add a category name. So if you add a category name, the name of each category will also display like that. So if you also want to convert this ones to percentages, you add percentage, and the percentage contribution of each division will be displayed here. That's how we can also format the data label. So now let's click on the close and we move. What is the name of this chart? If you want to get the name of this, let's say figure, you come here, then you come to chart title. So maybe who knows this title, this chart title, maybe it is what? A chart division. Maybe I want to name it with my YouTube channel name. So the name, let's say the name is Enox Tutorials. You can choose the color of the sense is in blue. You can select this color and change it to any form you wanted. So let's say I want to make it very clear, very visible, and I come and select this. You can also choose to add these values here. You can move these ones up and down how you want it. So maybe the key, you want the key to come down. If you want the key to be there as well as the title, you come and select this one. So the key is here, then the title will follow. So this is one way you can make a raw data visible in Excel. So let's delete that. You can also use as a bar graph. So, or you can use a line. Let's use a line first. So let's use a line. So you come here and select any of the lines that you want. So let's say you want to use this line. This one is just a line representation of this data. So we have here this value. Let's say you want to just get a blank interface. A blank interface. You just shown here is a graph, which is a line representation, graphical line representation of that. So if you want to just delete these lines, and just right click on that, then you delete. When you delete, you are going to change these lines here. So each angle represents a point. So this side is a point B, this is point this point B, here is point C. So as we said earlier, if you want to add the data values to it, so let's say I want to add the data labels, I will just come here and add data labels. So the A is 4 as shown there. the B is 20, the C is 12, then the D is 8, the E is 24, then the F is 10. Now if I want to format these data labels, I can format this one, the data labels. So if I format, I can add the category name. So when I add category name, at each point, the name of the category, which is B, will come, the C will come, and I can even, let me see, format data labels. So if I format data labels, come here, I can even indicate the position of my label. So here is the right, let's see, it should be on top, which is above. I'll just click on above. So each label will be on top of each point. So this is point C12. This is just a line. If I want to change these lines to, if we come to format data series, you will have the chance to format this data as shown here. So you can have the line color. So the line color, which color do you want? You want it to be a solid line, very sharp. Then you can adjust the sharpness or the faintness, the transparency of the line. If you click on color, then you can choose any color that you can give to the line. You can choose the line style. The line style here is shown here. You can have these styles of lines that you can apply to the line. So let's say I want the line to be in this format, dotted lines. I'll just select that and go. So shown here is how you can format it. Okay, so you can also have the layout of the graph. The layout, how you want to present the graphs. So with this graph, you can insert what you call the error bars to these graphs. So these are different ways of adding the error bars. So if you want to add the error bar, you just come and click on the layout, then you select the error bar with the percentage, click on that, then you are going to add error bar to each of the lines. With this very line, if you want to add the axis title, then you come and click here, then you add the axis title. So the axis title, is it the horizontal axis or the vertical axis? So if you want to add both, then you come to first the horizontal axis, which is the x-axis. Then since you want it to be below, you come and select title below the axis, so you click on that, then you add the title. You also come and add the vertical one. So the prime vertical one, you come here, then you come and add s, so the vertical title, you move it this way, then you add it. So in each, you can select, delete, and add the title that you want. So we select in each of them, you delete and add it. If you want to add the titles to the chart, you come and click on the chart title, then you center it there. So maybe this chart also, I want to name it Enoch tutorial. I'll just select and delete, then type in the Enoch tutorials. So then I go. So this is very simple, one way of converting a graph to linear form. Let's delete that. Okay, let's keep this one. Let's even move this one to a different place, so you can move and drag anyhow you want it. So this data you can also copy and paste anywhere in a cell. If I want to select this one and copy, I select all of them. So I just click on the first cell, hold it and move it along. Then you press Ctrl, let's say C to copy. Then if I want to paste it here, I will just paste. Come here and write Ctrl V, which is paste. So it's going to paste all the values that I used there. If I want to delete, then I'll just come here, then what? Select and delete it. Let's say I want to add a linear graph to, I want to plot a linear graph in Excel. A linear graph. So with a linear graph, you come here. Let's say I want to plot a graph of, let's say, distance. So against time. So let's say the distance I want to plot is, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then let's see here the distance, and this is the time. The time is, let's say, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, 60 seconds, and 70 seconds. So this column, if I want to enlarge this column, I just move the cursor to this one, click and drag and open up. If I want to enlarge this column, I will just click and drag and open up. So let's say this one is the displacement. Then I select this column, then open up. Then here is the time. I want to convert this very graph into a linear form. So what we just a graphical representation, but I want to get a linear graph. A linear graph. So as usual, you select each of the values here, then you come to insert, then we come to scatter. So this is a scatter. So you select the first one. So this is a scatter representation. If you want to get this one to be in line, then this is a scatter of this. So we have here the time against the distance. So the chart title, you can what? Change it as maybe velocity. Now you can add the trend line. So here, if I want to join it with a line, I'll just come to add a trend line. Then the trend line, how do I want it? Do I want it to be linear? Is it logarithmic or exponential? So any of them, since I want to get a linear graph, I will just click on linear. Then I click on close. Now when I come here, I can delete these ones, so I get a blank face, or let's say a blank interface with my linear graph. So all of this can be deleted and re-edited later. So this is a linear graph. So as usual, if I want to insert the various aspects, as we did earlier, you can add the chart title by coming here. You can add the axis title, being it the horizontal one, that is the x-axis, or the vertical one, that is the y-axis, as we showed in the previous video. You can equally add the equations, the correlation coefficient, the intercept to this graph. So if I have this one, when I come to trend line, as we showed earlier, the trend line also displays for me a portion where I can check in the intercepts. I can check in the equation, then I can check in the correlation coefficient. So as seen here, the equation of every straight line is always equal to, given in this format mathematically, it is given as y because mx plus c, where this y is the x and y axis. So here the y, here is the y axis. The m is always the slope or the gradient. So for this graph, the gradient of this graph or this line is what 10, then the x is the horizontal axis, then the y is the intercept. Now the intercept is basically the value or the point in the y-axis, so the vertical axis where the line cuts. So it means for this line, if this line is to extend, it is going to cut through the value 10. The arrow here is what they call the correlation coefficient. That is, it shows the relationship between the two variables that are used for plotting the graph. So here the variables we are using here is the displacement and the time. So if the r square value, which is the correlation coefficient, is what 1, it means there is a linear correlation between them. The linear means that if one value or one variable is increasing, then the other one too will also what? Increase. So if the r square value is 1, it means that by an interval where this one increase, the intervals between the independent data in this variable is constant, the same compared here. So here the interval between them is 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and here is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So here, if this one goes by 1, this one goes by 10, one goes by 1, 10, like that. So it means there's a linear correlation where the increase in the displacement leads to an increase in time, or where there is where the increase in time leads to an increase in displacement. So you can equally change the interfaces. So let's say you can change just the chart type of this. So this chart type is the various charts that you know. Aside coming to the insert button, you can come to the chart type and select any charts that you want to apply this very graph to. So maybe you want it to be in this format. You double click on that. Nicely shown. So as shown here, this side will represent the displacement, where it will mean that the displacement 6 has a time of what? 70 seconds. You can use any of the other charts too. So let's say I want to use this one. So let's say let's use this one too. Another way of having the chart is very nice. Next, you can also have a graphical representation if you want to compare two different, let's say, two different values. So let's say I have this graph, I have this data, I have male, I have female. Then for the female, I have here, let's say the height of the male is 23, the height of the female is 13, the height, let's say this different value being, let's say the age is, let's say 12, so it's not possible. I'm just using raw values. Let's say here is also 14. So let me close this so that I can get enough to, so let me close this one. So let's see if I can get another cell. So for me to get, let me move this one to different position, then another one. Let's see, I have so this is the age. So let me say the city no, so let's have the age, I have the height, then let me have the width. So let's say the width is 50 answered against 54. So I will name here gender, I will name here so here is the width, I have the height, then let me say here's the age. If I have this graph, so I have two variables here, male and female, and I'm comparing them, I can equally convert this one to a graphical form. So let's say if I want just this data to be converted to a graphical form to make meaning, can come to insert, then you come to column. Then any of these can be used to represent this data. So let's say I want to use a bar graph. I will just select the bar graph here. So each of these will have a triplicate as shown here. Okay, so each of these was shown. I think it was wrongly selected. Let me select the whole value, the whole data. So let me go back and select everything. So let's select everything. Then you come to insert, then you come to column, then you select any of the columns here. So maybe I want this one. So I have the age. So the age, they are saying that the male represents what? The blue color, the female is the red color. So with the age, it is clear that the male is of higher age than the female. The height, the female has a higher height than the male. Then comparing that of the weight, the female has higher weight as compared to the male. So that's how you can prevent just the raw data into a meaningful form. You can also use different charts. So let's see. Let's use different charts and see. So let's go to insert. Then let's use different chart like something like this. No, let's use the same. So maybe I want to use this. So this one way of also representing that. So if I have this one chart saying the height, if I just look at the length, it is clear the proportion of the female with the total height is higher than that of the male. Now the next on our outline, we're going to look at how you can carry out a descriptive statistics using the data analysis tool pack in an Excel. So let's say we have this raw data. So let's just use a raw data, any data that we want to use. So let's say we have a data. Let's say you have this type of data in raw data tool. So let's move up. Let's move up. Okay, I think we even have an existing data here. So yes, so let's use any of these data and apply descriptive statistics to effect it. So maybe I want to just select from value 1 to here to apply a descriptive statistics to explain it. So on the right button, you just click on data. Then the Excel gives you the data analysis always installed in there. So when selected the data, just click on the data analysis. Then it gives you a tool pack that gives you the various descriptive statistical parameters that you can use to describe the data. So you can get a two-way ANOVA in there. You can get correlation coefficient. You can get an exponential smoothing. You can get a histogram. You can get the t-test. You can get f-test. But we want to use a descriptive statistics in there. So you can get a sampling, you can get percentiles, you can get regression, you can get as many as parameters that you want. So maybe I want to just have a descriptive statistics. So this statistic just basically bases on the measure of central tendency, the measure of dispersion, then the measure of position. So if I want to just apply descriptive statistics to this selected data, I'll just click on descriptive statistics, then select that. So the last part on how to use the data analysis tool pack to analyze data, check on the channel for the previous video on how to use the data analysis tool pack to describe a data. Thanks for watching the introduction to data analysis. We are going to explore more into in-depth of this course in the next video. Thank you.